Hi, NBJC family. Welcome to the 6th annual Audre Lorde Wisdom Awards. As many of you may know, I am Victoria Kirby York, the Director of Public Policy and Programs at NBJC, and your host for today's ceremony. Today is National Honor Our LGBTQ Elders Day, and we are thrilled to celebrate the Black lesbian, bi plus, transgender, queer plus, and same gender loving women and femme elders who have dedicated their lives to the fight for liberation, justice, and equity for all. This awards program is named in honor of both the iconic Black lesbian mother, warrior, poet Audre Lorde and our Nyansepo Knot logo, which is a Ghanaian Adinkra symbol representing wisdom, ingenuity, persistence, and achieving goals through the most strategic path. The women we are honoring today carry on Audre's legacy of liberation and fighting against oppression and share their hard-earned wisdom so that we can all grow. They also represent the spirit of our Nyansepo Knot extremely well. In addition to honoring our trailblazers, we are thrilled about the torchbearers you'll hear from today who have carried the baton with these leaders and continue the many trails created by our honorees. Our first torchbearer is Dr. Regina Duggins, poet, entrepreneur, and the founder of Charleston Black Pride, which works to educate, inspire, improve, and celebrate the experiences of our community members.
There's a saying that goes, some people dream of making history, and then there are the ones who just go ahead and make it. Carlene is a maker. I want to take a moment because she deserves more than a moment. But I'll take what I can get to honor a woman who looked at the world that wasn't making space for Black women leadership and said, we'll build it ourselves. First, she led the DC Coalition of Black Lesbians and Gays. She understood early that before you can celebrate, you have to organize. Before you can march, you have to convey. She helped create the infrastructure of our community, the coalitions, the networks, the rooms, and ensured that Black lesbians could sit at the table and lead, not just participate. In 1983, she coordinated the DC Pride Festival and greatly increased the involvement of women and people of color. And from that foundation, what Carlene helped create with DC Black Pride wasn't just an event, it was a declaration. It said that Black LGBTQ plus people, and especially Black women, belong in this movement, not the margins, not the footnotes. And what grew from that declaration became something none of us could have fully imagined, a movement that stretched across this country and across the world and internationally. Making the Black Pride movement, she built it on a foundation that Carlene helped lay brick by brick with her vision, her courage, and her refusal to be anything less than fully herself. I know about what that foundation made possible because I've lived it. Charleston Black Pride exists because DC Black Pride existed first. My work exists because her work came first. When I think about what it meant to have a roadmap, to have proof that this could be done, that we could do it, I think about Carlene. She didn't just blaze a trail. She stood at the trailhead and said, follow me. And then she kept walking until the path was wide enough for all of us. She's the original Queen Mother. She refused to shrink and put her whole self into building our community, our culture, and belongings. That is a gift I do not take lightly. So Carlene, on behalf of everyone who found themselves in a space you helped create, everyone who built something because you proved it was possible, everyone who felt seen because you insisted on being visible, thank you. You are a founder, you are a trailblazer, you are a pillar of this movement, and I am honored to call you a foremother of this work. Thank you for all you've done. honored to call you a foremother of this work. Thank you for all you've done.
Why, thank you. And thank the National Black Justice Coalition for presenting and AARP for sponsoring the Audre Lorde Wisdom Awards. Congratulations to all of the 2026 awardees. I am humbled and honored to receive this acknowledgement. My journey with the gay and lesbian community was based in Washington, D.C., where I lived for more than 30 years. I think I was in the right place at the right time. I worked with the District of Columbia local government beginning in 1979 for over 20 years. I had never been politically active before. I had never been involved with any gay and lesbian organization. I wanted to get involved. So to get to know the community, I visited and/or joined many groups, including the Black Lesbian Support Group and Sapphire Sapphos. I joined the Gay and Lesbian Activist Alliance, Gertrude Stein Democratic Club, and the DC Coalition of Black Gays and Lesbians. The DC Coalition was the first national organization dedicated to Black, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgendered people and families. It was involved with civil rights, public health, and political representation. Later, I helped establish the Langston Hughes Eleanor Roosevelt Club. This Democratic club was more diverse with women and African American members. I supported the two national organizations, Human Rights Campaign Fund and the National Lesbian and Gay Task Force. I became a grassroots organizer. Therefore, I was comfortable supporting an effort that would emphasize and highlight the African American community. This was achieved through various events and campaigns in the community. In 1983, I was asked to coordinate the gay community Peace Street Festival, now known as Capitol Pride. My leadership greatly increased the involvement of more women and people of color. This was the first time the transgendered community felt welcome to participate. 8 years later, I joined the board of Black Lesbian and Gay Pride to help organize the second Black Pride. Our objective was to raise money for aid service organizations serving the Black community. That year, we tripled the previous year's funds. While still in the DC government under Mayor Anthony Williams, I was appointed to be the first special assistant for gay and lesbian affairs. Here we created a role in an office that has become a major link between the community and the mayors. My goal was to continue to advance our position and to move forward. We were not seeking special rights, only the same human and civil rights that everyone else had. In 2007, I decided to pass the torch. And from where I sit today, I think we're doing pretty good. If I have any words of wisdom, it's something I've always said. It is better to get 1% from 100 people instead of 100% from one person. Thank you again to the National Black Justice Coalition, and congratulations to the awardees that are still coming up. Thank you very much.
And thank you, Queen Mother. I appreciate you also lifting up so many historical moments.
I have one other thing to say.
Please do.
People call me Queen Mother. I want you to know where that came from.
Yes,
I was
please.
at the Nob Hill, which is a bar in Washington, D.C., and the guys were calling themselves queens. So I said, well, if you're the queens, I must be the Queen Mother. That's how that started.
I love that. Yes. Yes. You are indeed the Queen Mother. I love that. Thank you so much. Too often our history gets erased and our icons are removed from the retelling of LGBTQ plus history. And it's so important for everybody to know and be reminded, especially our people, where we were in these big moments that folks talk about throughout history. And you, Queen Mother, were at the center of it and leading it. Our next torchbearer is Heidi Ellis, founder and CEO of HME Consulting and Advocacy. working to build coalitions and advance policy that addresses intersectional LGBTQ plus same gender loving issues. Welcome, Heidi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Heidi Ellis, and my pronouns are she, her. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to uplift and celebrate one of the people I admire the most. And congratulations to the other honorees. Today, I get to honor a woman who has helped me and so many others. It is truly a privilege to offer this toast to June Crenshaw as she receives the NBJC Audre Lorde Wisdom Award, an honor that celebrates not just only what someone has done, but who they are in spirit, in community, and in movement. And that is exactly who June is. June is a builder of people and possibilities. Her work, from the corporate world to the nonprofit world, in organizing and community building in between, has always centered those too often pushed to the margins. She doesn't just show up for community, she creates community. Spaces where Black queer folks, young people, and those navigating multiple systems of inequity feel seen, supported, and powerful. But what makes June extraordinary is not just her impact, it's her intention. She leads with care, with humility, with a deep belief that change happens when we move together, whether she's mentoring people like me, collaborating with grassroots partners, or simply being a steady presence in our community and movements. June reminds us all that leadership is not just about being the loudest person in the room. It's about making sure every voice can be heard. On a personal note, June, as your friend and your sister in this movement, I've seen firsthand the way you pour into others and guide those coming up in the space. The way you hold space even when it's not easy. The way you choose community again and again. That kind of love, that kind of commitment, that's legacy work. Audre Lorde taught us that our silence will not protect us. But June, your voice, your actions, and your presence do protect, uplift, and transform so many around you, including myself. You embody wisdom, not just in what you know, but in how you move and how you love, with patience, with purpose. So today we celebrate you, we honor you, and we thank you for reminding us what it means to lead in both courage and in care. So everyone, please join me in presenting this honor to the one and only June Crenshaw.
Thank you to NBJC for this incredible honor. Thank you to my dear friend Heidi for such an amazing introduction, and happy Elders Day. To receive the Audre Lorde Wisdom Award is deeply meaningful to me because Audre Lorde taught me, without community, there is no liberation. Our community is our source of power, our insight, our resistance, and our transformation. I'm humbled to stand alongside these remarkable class of honorees, leaders, visionary, artists, advocates, organizers, and community builders who have spent decades making the world better. Serving as the former executive director of the Wanda Alston Foundation and in leadership roles with Whitman Walker Health, the Human Rights Campaign, the Rainbow Response Coalition, and now Capital Pride Alliance has taught me what it truly means to be in community. Those experiences showed me that leadership is not about titles or visibility, but about responsibility, compassion, accountability, and consistently showing up for people, especially during difficult moments. And I would not be standing here today without the love and support of my wife, Kim Baker. So much of this work asks us to endlessly pour into others. And sometimes that means neglecting those that are closest to us. Her love has helped sustain me. I often say that none of us arrive here alone. Each recognition we receive carries the fingerprints of our community. It carries the sacrifices of elders who fought when it was dangerous to do so. It carries the work of mentors, friends, chosen family like Heidi, volunteers, and everyday people who continue to show up for one another, even when the world feels heavy. And right now, the world feels heavy. Across this country, Black, queer folks are still fighting to be protected, affirmed, housed, employed, safe, and fully seen. We're still confronting systems that too often criminalize our pain, erase our contributions, and question our humanity. But despite all of that, we continue to create joy. We continue to build institutions. We continue to organize, and we continue to love each other. We continue to survive, and more importantly, we continue to dream. This is the legacy of Black queer people in this country. But we also have to ask, what comes next? What does freedom actually look like for us beyond survival? Because Audre Lorde also reminded us that our silence will not save us. The next chapter cannot simply be about enduring harm. It must be about building power. It must be about ownership, safety, healing, economic opportunity, housing, healthcare, aging with dignity, and creating spaces where our people are not just included, but are prioritized. It means protecting Black queer women. It means investing in Black queer leadership. It means making sure our elders are cared for and remembered. It means ensuring our young people inherit institutions that are stronger, healthier, and more accountable than the ones we inherited. And it means refusing to abandon one another. Our movements must continue to make room for complexity, for humanity, for grace, and for joy. We author what comes next. So I accept this award not simply as a personal achievement, but as a reminder of our collective responsibility to protect each other, to uplift each other, and to ensure that the next generation inherits a world with more freedom, more dignity, and more possibility. Thank you, everyone who supported me, who challenged me, who trusted me, and who walked beside me. And thank you for believing that our stories, our leadership, and our lives matter.
Thank you, Ju. You over here preaching. Got me about to. That was good. So many good lessons and gems from you. And I just want to also thank you for always being the Black queer excellence in the room when I was a baby gay 20 years ago and turned into the movement. And there weren't very many of us in those spaces, but being able to look up and see you not just there, but leading in some of these spaces allowed me to see myself there too. So
thank you.
Yeah.
There was never, you're right, there was never enough of us in the room, but we are working so hard with each other to improve that. And I see change coming, and I'm so excited about the possibilities. So thank you.
Whew, yeah, it's a sea change. Back then, there were like 5 of us could fit in a table at a gala.
Absolutely.
And now there's like multiple tables worth of us in these spaces. And
as there should be.
So much gratitude. And more to come, like to your point, more. But
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Our next torchbearer, Alicia Boykins, works to ensure diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workplace as the National Task Force's co-executive director.
Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm Alicia Whitaker Boykins. I am one of the vice presidents at the National LGBTQ Task Force, and it is my great pleasure and honor to present this award to Dana Rysel, aka the newly Mrs. Dana Galloway. I personally met Dana years ago at an event in Philly as when she was an entertainer. I am a youngster coming from California, trying to live my best life in DC. And from there, it matriculated to me joining her entertainment company, to us becoming just the best of friends, to us being able to argue and fight with each other. Someone who has been able to just be like, hey, you're wrong, I'm right. But who's also been there at my lowest times and even at my best of times. But what she does for our community and how she brings all of her gifts. She has created spaces for Black queer women, for lesbian community that spans all ages. She loves connecting people, whether you want the help or not. She's going to find a way to connect you to somebody who she feels like can help. Her general nature is just to give back and to help others. And the biggest thing that has evolved in Dana's life, where this award is just coming into fruition, is she was able to merge and show other entertainers that they can also be LGBTQ advocates. Basically, when Dana joined the task force, she went what we call corporate gay. And this was a whole new world, because usually entertainment and advocacy are two separate things. Dana has come to the forefront, has evolved what that means to be fully into community and to care for our community. Dana's just one of the baddest out there. From being a part of the ballroom culture, her experience as the 90s video vixens, you know her in leadership, not just in the DMV. She is throughout the country. She is worldwide. The series that she creates in the DMV area called Mind, Body, and Soul is a space where folks just came and talked about life, love, relationships, experiences with no judgment. She's brought joy and that culture of joy and spirit into my life, but also into the work that we do at the task force, and shows us that even when things are hard, we still have to celebrate. Dana has showed us that you can be an entertainer, you can be in the community, and you can be an advocate, and that there is space for everyone in this movement to bring whatever it is that they feel like their gift is to the table and have it be shown and recognized. She's shown that you can build your own brand while working in a national organization and taking us to the next level. She's definitely an icon and a legend in her own right. Whether you know her as Uzi, Sasha, or Dana, one thing we all know is she is iconic. She is a legend, and now she's an Audre Lorde Wisdom Award honoree.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Alicia. I appreciate it. I want to warmly acknowledge my fellow honorees. I am so proud of y'all and happy to be in company of you. I was an only child for the first 12 years of my life. It was very challenging. I dealt with a fair share of unfortunate circumstances that taught me some very ugly truths about humans. I learned that there was safety in silence and invisibility. Luckily, I discovered the art of dance, which I often refer to as my lifesaver. I remember walking from my neighborhood up to Payne Recreation in Southeast. I was so excited when I heard about their dance opportunities. When I arrived, I sat there taking it all in, but I was too afraid to ask to join. I wanted to be invited. I actually needed to be invited. As I looked around, I noticed an advertisement for a talent show, and it felt like my lucky break. I need you to know that I hadn't had not one dance class, no rehearsal, nothing. I didn't even have music. When I auditioned and they asked me what I wanted to dance to, they fell out laughing because I said, Turn Off the Lights by Teddy Pendergrass. Yeah, 12-year-old asking for Teddy Pendergrass, Turn Off the Lights, because that's what I heard my mama play on a record player. That one moment set everything in motion and unfolded a series of opportunities that shaped my path and ultimately led me to Duke Ellington School for the Performing Arts, where I proudly graduated. I went from being invisible to being invited, from being familiar with one quadrant of DC to competing at a national level, from internalizing pain to using my craft to move that energy outward. I stand before you unfinished, but transformed from where I once stood. My childhood was challenging, but it gave me perspective. And now I prioritize creating spaces where others feel safe. Women like Audre Lorde felt like superheroes to girls like me. She taught us the power of voice, and presence. I will continue that legacy by providing spaces for folks to breathe, to speak, and to just simply belong. Places where joy, connections, and creative expression flow, all while preserving and celebrating LGBTQ plus history. Behind every open door are quiet sacrifices. But just like that 12-year-old girl who showed up with nothing but courage, I find a way. It brings me joy to see others experience joy, to see people connect and network, to see someone step on stage for the very first time. Those are my whys. I do this for my community because it's needed, because I see it, I hold it, and because it once held me. Being honored for what brings me joy is the highest form of recognition. I am grateful. It affirms my past efforts and will continue to guide my steps. It's confirmation that I'm going in the right direction. I have learned that wisdom isn't one dimensional, it's layered. Knowledge tells you what is. Intelligence figures out what could be. Wisdom decides what should be done. The 12-year-old me decided what should be done. And because of that decision, I made choices much different from many of my peers. Those choices saved my life. Those lived experiences deepened my empathy. Together, they shaped how I show up. Being acknowledged today shows that my sacrifice and my contribution to my community matters. It drives me to move with intention, execute with integrity, and lean into discomfort. This award reminds me to embrace the fact that I deserve a seat at the table, that I don't always have to sit at a table, that I can always build my own table, and if need be, I can flip the damn table. I like to thank those whose shoulders I stand on, those that stand beside me, those who trusted me to do the work, and those that are trustworthy. This achievement is not an individual achievement. I accept it with gratitude on behalf of everyone who helped me get here. My wife, Tanya Galloway, my tribe, and my work family at the National LGBTQ Task Force. I am thankful for the strength and spirit of Audre Lorde that guides me. I will honor this accolade with grace, humility, and poise. I will move forward with the same curiosity and courage because I've kept that 12-year-old girl spirit and I'm turning it into community impact that identifies with other 12-year-old spirits that never got a chance to unfold. NBJC, thank you.
Thank you,
I got
Dana.
that.
Yes, you talk
My
about
wife is crazy. I'm sorry.
saving your life, sis. You have saved so many people's lives. I've watched it up close. Oh, that's so sweet. Did your wife just do that? Oh, come on, Black love.
I'm gonna kill her.
Beautiful. That's so sweet. Yes. And you
My
deserve
wife
to be
is crazy.
honored
I'm
like
sorry.
that, please.
Sorry, y'all.
Yes. But yes, I've seen it up close at your events. You have saved so many people's lives and continue to, whether it's giving people that artistic expression or, as Alicia said, so beautifully help to create space for us to just talk. Especially as lesbians, we get older, or queer women get older, we do tend to self-isolate, and you force us to be with each other and in community. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I am so honored, Victoria. I love you.
Love you too. Our next torch bearer is council member and former mayor Carolyn Weisinger, who serves on the city council of El Cerrito, California, which has an LGBTQ plus SGL supermajority, y'all. She is also a part of our Good Trouble network of Black LGBTQ plus and same gender loving elected officials. Take it away, Carolyn.
Good evening, family. My name is Carolyn Weisinger. I am a council member and former mayor in the beautiful city of El Cerrito, California. Now, I was told that I was going to be doing a toast, but let's be clear, this is not just any kind of toast. This is a moment of witnessing, a moment of gratitude, and a moment of giving someone their flowers while they can still smell them. Gwendolyn, yes, I'm talking to you. Surprise! It's me. Today, we are gathering for the Audre Lorde Wisdom Award. We are reminded that wisdom is not just what you know,
It's what you build, it's what you protect, and what you leave behind for others to walk into. And when I think about that, I think about you. Because Brendolyn Goodall, you didn't just sew up in spaces, you transformed them. As a Black lesbian navigating political and advocacy spaces that were not always built for us, you chose not to shrink. You chose not to wait. You chose to lead, to organize, to advocate, to mentor, to build community across differences. And most importantly, to make sure that those of us coming up behind you didn't just have to start from scratch. Brendolyn, your leadership has always been about pathways. You have done the kind of work that always doesn't make headlines, but does make history anyway. The kind of work that says, I see you, I'm making space for you, and I'm going to make sure that you're not just included, but you are centered. And that's not easy work. It's not glamorous work, but it is sacred work. And I want to take a moment to make something very plain, because we don't often say this enough to folks while they're here to listen and hear it for themselves. My journey is connected directly to your journey. As the first Black lesbian mayor here in our home state of California, I carry a title that may sound historic, but I know it didn't just happen in isolation. It happened because there were Black lesbian leaders like you who were already in the rooms, already pushing the doors open, and already insisting that we belong. You helped normalize our presence. You helped expand what leadership looks like. You helped make it possible for someone like me to not just enter spaces, but to lead in them. And that, my dear, is your legacy. That is wisdom, and that is what makes you a true trailblazer. What I appreciate about you the most is that you don't just bring people into the room, you change what the room feels like. You make it more honest, you make it more inclusive, you make it more human. And that impact ripples far beyond what we can see in any single moment. So today, as we honor you and honor our elders, those of us who have shaped this movement with your courage, your clarity, and your care, we also honor you as someone who has carried that torch forward in a way that lights the path for all of us. So here is my toast. I don't have champagne, I got my Kamala Harris mug. To you, Brendolyn Goodall, a true trailblazing Black lesbian leader, a builder of community, a champion of equity, may you continue to be surrounded by the same love, the same support, and the same affirmation that you so freely give to others. May your impact continue to ripple in ways that you can see, and may you always know that you are loved. And may we all be better because we had the privilege of walking alongside you. Cheers to you, Brendolyn.
Is so full. Oh my gosh. I'm deeply honored to accept the Audre Lorde Wisdom Award from the National Black Justice Collective. To receive this award carrying the name of Audre Lorde is both humbling and profoundly meaningful. Audre Lorde taught us that our voices matter, our lives matter, and that we must never be afraid to fully stand in our truth. Her courage and brilliance created space for many of us to live more boldly, to love more boldly, and to lead more authentically. I want to thank the National Black Justice Collective for this incredible honor, and congratulations to my fellow honorees. Born and raised in Oakland, community engagement, advocacy, and representation were installed at me at an early age. My life's work, 50 plus years as a social worker, an administrator, an advocate, a community leader, has centered around giving back, building communities, and ensuring marginalized communities are seen, heard, and valued. Ranging from East Bay Stonewall president, workforce investment, and currently I'm a government appointee on the State Commission on Aging. As an out and proud 75-year-old Black lesbian, I know firsthand the importance of visibility, of having a seat at the table, and making sure others who look like me have a seat as well. Representation matters, our voice matters. I've spent a lifetime advocating for LGBTQ plus communities, elders, and Black and Brown communities on a local, state, and national level. And I accept this award with pride, gratitude, and responsibility because I deeply believe that aging is not about becoming invisible. It's not about becoming invisible. Throughout my journey, I've been blessed with mentors, including beginning with my parents, Jeanette and Cleveland Godot, who taught me the values of strength, integrity, and service. And leaders like Brenda Crawford and Peggy Moore reminded me that community engagement is not about simply responsibility, it's a calling. Mentorship has always been at the heart of my leadership. It's about opening doors, lifting voices, and creating opportunities for the next generation. It's about making sure our leadership spaces are truly reflective of the richness and diversity of our community. Recently, during a Healthy Aging Summit with Kaiser Permanente, I was asked what my call to action would be. And my answer was simple. When we develop programs and policies, we must ensure that people who look like me, Black, elder, a lesbian, know that we belong, that we have a seat at the table, and that our stories continue to be heard, valued, and respected. Lived experience matters. You cannot create programs for elders without listening to the people that live that experience every single day. Older adults, especially those from diverse communities, must be centered in creating solutions because when our voices are heard, our communities are stronger. I want to acknowledge my wife, Nancy Hines. Nancy, I could not have done this work without your unwavering love and support. This September, we celebrate 33 years together. Thank you for always standing by me. At 75, I know that joy itself is an act of resistance. Choosing joy, choosing love, and choosing community, especially during these difficult times, is powerful. And I must remain hopeful because I see generations coming to work with courage, creativity, and determination. Again, thank you to the National Black Justice Collective for this incredible honor. And I accept the Audre Lorde Award with a full heart and a continued commitment to build a world where all of us can age, live, lead, and thrive with dignity, visibility, wisdom, and joy. I thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership, your love, and your testimony. You definitely, in the roles that you've taken on throughout your life, have helped to obliterate systems that sought to keep us out, to keep our folks from being able to run for office and take up space. And so just to echo what Mayor Weisinger said, so many of us wouldn't be in elected office if it were not for the doors you opened for them. So thank you so very much. And we're so
Thank you.
to honor you. And congratulations on 33 years, honey. That is a blessing and amazing. I'm loving all of the love being demonstrated throughout all of you all's stories. All right. So our next torchbearer is Kayla Gore, the founder and executive director of My Sister's House, a grassroots organization providing trans community members with emergency shelter and access to health and social services. Take it away, Kayla.
Hello, my name is Kayla Gore, and I'm the founder and executive director of My Sister's House and the Tiny House Project, located here in Memphis, Tennessee. And today we are honoring Janetta Johnson with the Audre Lorde Wisdom Award. These honors, they don't just speak to truth, but the honorees live it. Audre Lorde taught us that our voices, our care, and our resistance matters. That wisdom lives in action. And that's why it means so much for me to bear the torch and pass it to my sister, Janetta Johnson. Janetta leads with a heart, with courage, and a deep commitment to community. She shows up even when it's hard, and because of that, so many of us are stronger, safer, and we are seen. This afternoon, I'm proud to call my sister, and I'm honored to present you with the Audre Lorde Wisdom Award, Janetta Johnson.
Hi, thank you very much, Janetta Johnson, and I am the CEO of the Miss Major Alexander L. Lee TGIJP Black Transcultural Center. I want to thank the National Black Justice Coalition and Victoria Kirby and Dr. David John for the recognition for continuing to create space for Black TLGBT people to be seen, to be heard, and to be valued. It truly means something special to me to stand here connected to the legacy of Audre Lorde, because Audre Lorde reminds us that our silence will not protect us. And as a Black trans woman who has spent decades organizing, building, and fighting for our people, I know how important it is to continue telling the truth about who we are and what we deserve. I moved to San Francisco from Tampa, Florida in 1997. And one of the greatest gifts of my life was meeting my Black trans mother, Miss Major Griffin Gracie, whom I call Mama Major. Mama Major taught me so much more than organizing. She taught me how to love community. She taught me how to protect community. And she taught me that leadership is not about power. Leadership is about responsibility, especially responsibility to people who have been pushed aside, criminalized, incarcerated, unhoused, and forgotten. Back then, there were very few spaces where Black trans women and trans people of color could feel safe. People were coming out of jails and prisons with nowhere to go, no support, and no systems truly designed to help them survive or thrive. One of the things that she taught me was reentry had to be rooted in love and dignity and care, and reentry must come with a paycheck. Not punishment, not shame, not abandonment, but real community care. She believed if somebody was coming home from prison, we had the responsibility to help them and create a safer entries back into the community, helping people find housing, healthcare, safety, and connections to a safe political home. She taught me that nobody should have to rebuild their life alone. There's a story I carry with me everywhere I go. Mama Major was working at the Tenderloin AIDS Resource Center during the time when transgender people were still being shut out of services while leadership was away. She literally broke down a wall and created a doorway for transgender people could enter the building. And what always stays with me is that she knew there would be consequences. She knew she might lose her job. She knew people would criticize her, but she cared more about making sure that there was a safe place for Black and Brown people, community members. She cared more about making space for her people than protecting herself. That moment taught me what courage looks like. It taught me that sometimes leadership means doors for people who have been locked out of their entire lives. And somewhere along our journey, I made a promise to myself that one day we would have something permanent for our people, a political home, a safe place for people to transition into, a place for formerly incarcerated people to rebuild their lives, a place that centered in healing, wellness, culture, and community. And today, through Miss Major Alexander L. Lee Black Transcultural Center, we continue building towards that freedom. Not because it's easy, not because we have all the answers, but because our people deserve it. And honestly, this work can be heavy. There have been moments of grief, exhaustion, and heartbreak, but Mama Major taught me something I carry every day. You keep loving your people anyway. You keep building anyway. You keep opening doors anyway. So today I accept this recognition not only for myself, but for every Black, trans, queer, GNC, non-binary, cisgender person who survived, that we were never designed for us to thrive. I carry all the Black trans women who loved me into my leadership. And I also recognize that Mama Major's longtime partner and son, Beck and Desire Major, are still here and sending you lots of love. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Janetta. I've had the privilege of watching you throw down in the reparations space with the Movement for Black Lives, and I see how you bring and carry our people with you into every space that you're in. And I'm just so grateful to have this opportunity to celebrate another person from Tampa, from the, I mean, you know, I'm about to say the real Bay Area. You from both Bays, so. That's a joke, Miss Brendolyn. It's a joke. But so grateful to you, to your leadership, and for also continuing to carry the mantle of Miss Major, who was was in the first cohort of women we honored with a Wisdom Award. So again, thank you for the continued and wonderful work that you've done throughout your career and will continue to do. Now, we'll go to our very last torch bearer, me. What a big surprise. There's a particular kind of courage that does not announce itself. It does not wait for permission. It does not wait for the church to come around or for the world to make space for it. It simply shows up week after week, column after column, sermon after sermon, and tells the truth anyway. That is the courage of the Reverend Irene Monroe. She came up in Brooklyn. She studied at Wellesley, Union Theological Seminary, and under Dean Peter Gomes at Harvard Divinity School. And then she took everything those institutions gave her and turned it outward toward the people they too often left behind. As a public theologian, she understood that the Bible had been weaponized against us and that someone needed to take it back. Her syndicated columns ran in 43 cities. She goes on Boston Public Radio every Monday and reminds people that justice is not a political position. It is a spiritual obligation. She built institutions where none existed, founding Equal Partners of Faith, Christian Lesbians Out, and the Religious Coalition for the Freedom to Marry, giving Black and queer people of faith somewhere to belong when their own congregations turned them away. Long before many of us had the language for it, she was in the Bronx, inside Black churches, refusing to let HIV/AIDS be shrouded in silence and shame. When the epidemic was devastating our community and the church looked away, she looked straight at it and ministered to people others deemed unworthy of care. In 1998, the same year, she became the first African-American lesbian to serve as Grand Marshal of Boston Pride. She led the vigil for Rita Hester, a Black transgender woman murdered in her own home. That vigil became the seed of what we now know as the Transgender Day of Remembrance, observed every November around the world. She did not just mourn, she memorialized. She is importantly one of the cornerstones of this very organization, the National Black Justice Collective, and we do not take that lightly. Reverend Irene Monroe has spent decades reminding us that our liberation is theological, not just political, that our joy is sacred, that to be Black and queer and faithful is not a contradiction, it is a calling. I first met her in the pages of her introduction to the book Spirited, affirming the soul of Black, gay, and lesbian identity, which addresses the question of how we, as same-gender loving Black people, affirm ourselves as sexual and spiritual people. Her words and that sacred text became the guiding light for my own personal journey to this movement work on behalf of our people and I remain deeply grateful to her words and works, reminding me that God's love covered me. Will everyone please raise your glass to a theologian, a truth teller, and a founding mother of this collective, to the Reverend Irene Monroe.
NBJC, Victoria Kirby York, and to all who make this moment possible. Also, congratulations to all of this year's awardees. I'm honored to be among all of you freedom fighters here. For my talk today is for any Black lesbian who is thinking about entering ministry. I come to share how Audre Lorde's body of works saved my life, shaped my ministry, taught me the importance of writing ourselves into existence and lifting our voices even when others tell us to be quiet. As a child of the Black church, I had 3 questions I wanted answered and was struggling with coming out. And they are these. Why can't we, as an African-American community, tell the truth about our sexuality? What price do we pay in telling that truth? And what role does the church play in perpetuating not telling that truth with its politic of silence that creates a church on the down low? There are many people who have played a significant role in my journey, but one of my teachers, whom I knew personally, was Audre Lorde. I met Audre in the 1970s after returning home from college. I was invited to become part of a collective of Black women writers in New York City called the Sisterhood while I was working at 17 magazine. Among its members were Alice Walker, June Jordan, Carol Gregory, Toni Morrison, and Audre Lorde, just to name a few. Audre Lorde famously wrote, "Your silence will not protect you," in her essay, The Transformation of Silence into Language and Action. Audre gave that speech shortly after being diagnosed with breast cancer, urging us to speak up against injustice despite our fears. Little did I know that decades later, her cancer journal would help me to sustain my cancer journal. In the 1980s, amid twin epidemics, AIDS and crack cocaine, I took Audre Lorde's words to heart and transformed my own silence into language and action. I stopped going to convergent therapy and went to seminary to heed my calling. There's a quote by Toni Morrison that says that if there's a book that you want to read, but it hasn't been written yet, then you must write it yourself. I came to understand that writing is not simply a craft, but a public calling. I realized that my outreach ministry had to be connected to the church while also rooted in bringing the social gospel out into the world. While my seminary education shaped me to do ministry beyond the hollow walls of the academy, my doctoral program didn't. So I began publishing my sermons and articles in queer magazines across the country, which eventually led to syndication and me becoming a Huffington Post blogger. My approach to advocacy has always been to inform and to inspire our community in ways that deepen our understanding of the enormous role religion and theopolitics play in our lives, whether we are practicing atheists or recovering Christians. For our people, writing from our social location is not only a radically queer act, but also a subversive tool that decenters the traditional theological canon in society that continues to value and laud the writings by and about cisgendered heterosexual people as normative. My writings led to a public speaking voice on the college lecture circuit, co-hosting a weekly Monday radio segment called All Revved Up on Boston Public Radio, as well as a podcast by the same name that explored where faith intersects with politics and culture, and a weekly Friday TV commentary on New England Channel News. Looking back at my life has been grounded in an intersectional anti-oppression activism and practice on multimedia platforms. And as an African American lesbian minister and theologian, I have sought to help shape both a local as well as a national affirming public dialogue around LGBT issues, around religion and social justice. My work really seeks to inform the public the role religion and theopolitics plays in discrimination against all people, but particularly LGBTQ people, because homophobia and transphobia are both hatred of the other and is actually acted upon in the name of religion. So by reporting religion in the media, I had aimed to highlight how religious intolerance and fundamentalism not only shatters the goal of American democracy, but how it also aids in perpetuating other forms of oppression that wound both our individual and collective human spirit. Like Fannie Lou Hamer, I got sick and tired at how the Black church would applaud our brothers and sisters in the choir pews, yet excoriate them from the pulpit. I got sick and tired of how the church would pimp our talents, yet damn our souls with a theological qualifier to love the sinner but hate the sin. In combating the cisgendered heteropatriarchy in many of our Black churches, I constantly had to remind my homophobic and transphobic church brothers and sisters, and yes, seminarians, pastors, and professors even today, three things. One, as queer people, we are not children of a lesser God. Two, that queer people love Jesus as much as straight people. And three, that our lives are sacred, holy, and sanctified too. However, these same people would tell me that they have the Lord on their side. And my sexual orientation is both an abomination to our Black community and God. I would snap back and tell them that I had the Lord on my side too. And her name is Audre Lorde, who said, "Your silence will not protect you." Audre's words created a paradigm shift in me as to what religion, spirituality, and theology could be. They affirmed my deep longing for a oneness with God and helped me to not let other people dictate what my relationship with God should be. Finally, in finding my spiritual voice was a difficult journey until Audre Lorde's writing that gave me language to articulate what I was feeling. So, for example, Sister Outsider, a foundational collection of essays and speeches, included her famous texts like "The Master's Tool Would Not Dismantle the Master's House," uses of the erotic as power, and that poetry is not a luxury. All of them became my canon for survival, my Bible, my talking book, speaking to my social reality, saying that Black feminist lesbian voices are important too. Sister Outsider created for me a counter voice to Black church cisgendered patriarchy. Sister Outsider functioned as my holy book, an apocryphal text, as subjugated knowledge that became a tool that gave me voice, visibility, and power. And with that power, I came out of the closet. Audre's body of works helped me to construct a spiritual vernacular. And with each book, it spoke to our particularity as Black, feminist, lesbian, and queer people. Her writing showed me that as women of the African diaspora, our presence has always forged an intersectionality with life and living, long before it became a word in the public discourse and a reality embraced by the Academy. For the first time in print and in writing, it made visible our lives. Sister Outsider also showed me that Black women's writings are subversive and a political necessity. Sister Outsider, even today, is a timeless tome because of its relatability in building a bridge to future generations. And that is the work of a public ministry. Sister Outsider also educated me, and I hope it does for future generations, that our lives are sacred texts, not in spite of our challenges, but rather because of them. Today, we would say that our Sister Audre Lorde rocks because she had that Black girl magic and a power and energy that derives from our four sisters and four mothers. And some might say, well, what is that? And this is what I've learned from all of you, whether I know you or not, and sisters around me, and just people who want to make a change, that what Audre Lorde gives us, whether we know it or not, she gives me, and I hope she gives you in your ministry, a fire in your spirit, a cadence in your speech, the weight of our blues. She understood that, in the protection of ourselves and our sisterhood. Sisterhood, Sister Outsider really became my Bible. It became a good book, the gospel according to Black women's lives. It gave me strength, and it helped me when I'm down to get up, to get through, and to get over. Thank you all for being part of our fight for freedom, and thank you, NBJC, for this award.
And Reverend Monroe, thank you again for being a part of the canon that saved me in the way that Audre saved you, and a guiding light that helped save my own relationship with God. I'll be forever grateful to you. Now, I want to bring all the awardees back on screen for a toast. Please raise your glasses. All right. Today, we honor 6 women who did not wait for permission to lead, to build, to love openly, or to demand that Black LGBTQ+ and same gender loving people be seen in our full humanity. You have organized coalitions, created and curated cultural districts and events, built sacred spaces, preached hard truths, served your own elders, and laid the foundation for pride movements that now span the world. Your work spans decades, crosses every sector, and has touched more lives than any of us can count. Look around this virtual stage. So much of what we take for granted, the spaces we gather in, the language we use to name ourselves, the audacity to show up fully, exists because each of you refused to shrink. You organized when it wasn't safe. You built when there was no blueprint. You showed up for our elders, our artists, our incarcerated siblings, and our youth, not because someone asked them to, but because you could not look away. We are here today as the fruit of your labor, and we want you to know we see you, we love you, we honor you, and we are grateful. Audre Lorde called it, caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare. These women have waged that war on behalf of all of us. To our honorees, your wisdom has made us wiser. Your courage has made us braver, and your love for this community has made us whole. Cheers.
Cheers.
And now, to reveal this year's artwork for our special commissioned award, thank you again to Rebecca Crouch, phenomenal Black queer woman, for creating this beautiful piece, which each of you will receive. All right. Take it in. It will be mailed to each of you shortly. And as you see, commissioned in your likeness. Our design for this is to create our own Mount Rushmores, right? Bump the colonizers and the founding fathers, right? Like, you are our Mount Rushmore. Are those created the infrastructure for us to have what we have today and continue to do so. None of you have left your foot off the pedal. So thank you again. Thank you for all of the ways that you've all shown up beautifully. Now, I welcome Shay Franco-Clausen, a political operative, organizer, and member of our Good Trouble Network steering committee, for our call to action.
Last month, the Supreme Court gutted Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. Maps are being redrawn to erase Black political power. So here's what we do. Get registered. Confirm your name still appears on the voting rolls. Get your people registered. Show up for every local election, city council, school board, state legislature, primary, general, and special elections. Contact your member of Congress and demand they pass a new federal rights legislation. Engage in local redistricting efforts and serve as a poll watcher to ensure every vote is counted. Our vote is under attack. We should act like it. While you're fighting for your rights, don't forget to fight for your health. HIV continues to disproportionately impact our community. PrEP works, but Black LGBT plus same gender loving people face real barriers to accessing care, such as cost, stigma, and healthcare systems that were never designed with us in mind. Call your state department. Ask about free and low-cost PrEP programs. Ensure your lawmakers make PrEP available without prescriptions at pharmacies in your state. Finally, check in on your elders. Our elders built the movement and legacy we are continuing. They need affirming housing, healthcare, and community, in addition to economic support. Volunteer with an elder support organization. Encourage your lawmakers to pass caregiver support and long-term care programs with funding while preventing budget cuts to Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security. Together, we can remove the stigma of being Black, LGBT plus, same gender loving, and elderly, and halt the attempted erasure of our history by encouraging our elders to make their history a public record through oral history projects, podcasts, video interviews, and published books. Register, protect your health, honor your elder. The community that shows up wins.
Thank you, Shay. Thank you so much. We want to thank everyone who nominated potential honorees and the members of this year's selection committee. We encourage you to drop the names of other elders you would like us to consider honoring in future programs, and keep a lookout for other opportunities to nominate honorees in our monthly newsletter. Programs like these would not be possible without support. We thank our former CEO and executive director, Chairman Letman Hicks, who laid the foundation for these awards. We also want to thank our event producer, Tom Cunningham, who made all the magic happen behind the scenes. Our CEO and executive director, Dr. David J. Johns. I know y'all saw him in the chat commenting and lifting up all of you. And team members, Emily, Shanice, Chelsea, and Jordan, whose support also aided in this program. Now, please save the date for our James Baldwin Legacy Awards on Thursday, October 1st, 2026 at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific time, where we will honor our brothers. Finally, join us from June 10th to 12th in Washington, D.C. for our third annual National Equity Week of Action. This week unites advocates, activists, students, artists, and entertainers to fight for justice and liberation for all. Events include our Out on the Hill Congressional Advocacy Day on June 11th and our Equity Ball at Howard Theater on June 12th. You can get tickets via the link that we'll drop in this chat, or you can visit nbjc.org/equity-week to learn more. And you better be keeping up with NBJC by following us across social media platforms at NBJC on the Move on Instagram, Facebook, and Threads. Stay tuned to our Facebook page, which will be live streaming the All Roads Lead to the South National Day of Action rally for voting rights taking place in Montgomery, Alabama right now, immediately following this program. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you next year.